At my surprise military homecoming, her voice was small, too small. I hadn't heard her in years, not since before the desert heat turned my bones brittle and the sound of mortars made me deaf to softer things. But the moment I stepped through the doorway, balloons sagging, confetti frozen mid-air from their half-hearted surprise, she crawled across the living room floor. Her knees scraped, her face streaked with tears, and her right hand reached out toward me. 3 fingers were gone. She pressed what was left against my boot, trembling. Her sobs rattled the room. "Daddy!" Her voice cracked into pieces. "Mom's lover cut them off. With garden shears." The party decorations tilted sideways. My wife froze, her smile collapsing into a stiff mask, balloons still dangling behind her like witnesses unwilling to speak. I bent down, the weight of my gear suddenly unbearable. She pressed closer to me, whispering through broken gasps. She burned me with cigarettes, and she told me, "You died screaming like a coward." Her body shook against mine. My wife's hand went to her throat. His shadow lingered behind her, the man I hadn't seen before, standing too close, breathing too easily in my house. They'd been collecting my death benefits. My daughter's bloodied bandages told me the rest. Nobody hurts my daughter and lives to tell about it. Silence swallowed the room after her confession. I didn't move, not yet. Years of military training taught me one thing: stillness is deadlier than rage. Rage makes you loud. Stillness makes you lethal. My wife spoke first, stammering, searching for words that would rearrange the truth. "She's confused. She doesn't know what she's saying." But I didn't look at her. I couldn't. I kept my eyes on my daughter, memorizing every bruise, every scar. The cigarettes had kissed her skin in places a mother's love should have covered. I lifted her gently, cradling her against my chest. Her heartbeat trembled like a bird trapped in a cage. Behind me, he shifted, the lover. I hadn't even asked his name yet. I didn't need it. I could feel his nervous breath pushing against the back of my neck. That was the first moment suspicion bled into clarity. The months of silence during deployment, the half-written letters, the absence of her voice on calls, the flatness in her tone when she said, "We miss you." I thought war had taken her warmth, but war hadn't touched her. He had, and she had let him. I didn't speak of it that night, not a word. Soldiers survive on patience, and patience sharpens the blade. I played the role of returning husband, the decorated warrior, the survivor of fire and sand. I let them watch me smile at the neighbors, shake hands with friends, and eat the cake my wife pretended to bake with love. But inside, a clock began ticking. Every glance she shared with him, every faint touch when they thought I wasn't watching, every excuse to step outside together. I started digging. Phone records, bank statements, the death benefits I supposedly wasn't alive to question. Her laughter on a recorded voicemail, not meant for me. His voice overlapping with hers, too casual, too intimate. I ordered a DNA test. Not because I doubted my daughter's blood, but because I wanted the world to put ink to the paper and prove what my eyes already knew. I wore silence like armor. My wife mistook it for fatigue. She leaned in close at night, testing me with shallow words, but her skin reeked of him. I let her believe I was still blind. Each day, the fire inside grew colder, sharper, and I waited. The results arrived on a Tuesday. I sat at the kitchen table. My daughter colored quietly beside me, her left hand clutching the crayon as if the missing fingers no longer mattered. The envelope was thin, but it carried the weight of a hammer. I opened it slowly, read once, read twice, confirmed. Everything I had suspected was true. That evening, when she returned home, I was waiting. The papers lay flat on the table, my hands folded neatly over them. She glanced down, her face draining of color. What is this?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. The silence between us became the confrontation. Her lover's name slipped from her lips before I asked. A reflex, a defense. Her body shook with fear, not guilt. She had never been sorry, only afraid of being caught. I looked at her the way I used to look at enemies, through a rifle scope. Cold, calculated, removed. She broke first. They always do. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't strike her. I leaned forward, slow and deliberate, and slid the papers toward her. Her hands trembled when she touched them. "You buried me before I was dead," I said softly, but I crawled back. "And now it's your turn." Her tears came quickly, ugly, panicked tears. She begged, she swore, she tried to build a story out of shattered lies. I didn't move. I let the weight of truth crush her throat. When the lover came knocking later that night, I opened the door before she could stop me. I handed him the same papers, no words, just proof. His face collapsed under the weight of exposure. Her betrayal tasted bitter on his tongue, now that it was dragged into daylight. I watched them unravel together. Their alliance dissolved in seconds, each blaming the other, both collapsing under the truth I had placed like a loaded weapon between them. I didn't need violence. I left them to destroy each other. I took my daughter's hand, what was left of it, and we walked out. The house behind me was no longer mine. It was a graveyard of lies, and I had no interest in burying myself there again. For years I had fought enemies in foreign deserts, but the real war had been waiting here, in my own home. Now I knew the truth, and the truth was enough. I didn't forgive, I didn't rage, I didn't even look back. Some wars end with explosions. Mine ended with silence, and silence is heavier than any bomb.